Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237. This is John, coming at you with another Italian horror movie review. There's actually another Giallo film and another Dario Argento film. I had never seen this before until just now. I just finished watching it, and that is his 1985 film Phenomena. And this isn't the cover that came with the DVD. I didn't like the cover, but this was an insert, and I just put it in there. I thought the other cover was shitty. This is the Anchor Bay release. This is the 110-minute cut, which I don't think cuts out any of the gore. I just think it trims down the opening and ending sequences. The full uncut is 116 minutes, so there's that. But if you get the 85, 86-minute cut, that is extremely watered down. That's the American release, called Creepers, which is kind of a stupid title. I agree with Rambo Rat for Life. Creepers makes it sound like a killer bug movie. Phenomena is a much better title. And this is a much better cover than the one Anchor Bay came out with. But anyway, so I just saw Phenomena for the first time, and all I can say is, wow. What a great fucking movie. I might actually like this better than a Suspiria. I might. Just might. There's a lot going for this movie. The concept is kind of weird and interesting, but it pulled it off nicely. As you can see on the cover, it's her sitting with a butterfly. Pretty much the story is Jennifer Connelly plays this girl named Jennifer. Her father's a famous actor. He's working somewhere in the Philippines. So he enrolls her in this all-girl boarding school in, I think, Switzerland. Says it's a Swiss school, so I'm assuming. And she doesn't fit in well, and she has an affinity for insects. And all the while, there's this serial killer on the loose killing the young women at her school. And that's when she finds, and also Jennifer Connelly sleepwalks, and then, there's an accident the first time we see her sleepwalking. And that sort of triggers this ability she has, which is a psychic link to all insects. And they sort of bend to her will, and she uses this gift to, see, that's the other cover. I think it looks like shit. She uses that psychic link to help solve the murders, find the bodies, and find the murders. And I've heard some people say that the first hour is really slow. I can kind of agree, but there are some great moments in that first hour. For example, you get a supporting role by Donald Pleasence, which I love Donald Pleasence. Great to see him. I mean, he was in 5 Halloween films. He stuck with that series for better or worse. He was one of the best parts of the Halloween series. He was in the Mouth of Madness. I think the oldest thing I've seen him in is an episode of The Twilight Zone, where he plays the professor that wants to commit suicide, and then all his students tell him what he meant to them. Pretty uplifting episode of Twilight Zone. I'm a huge Twilight Zone fan. And actually, Donald Pleasence's nurse is a chimp. It's a chimpanzee. A very smart chimpanzee. He has like a laser pointer. He can point at anything and she'll retrieve it. So Jennifer Connelly becomes friends with Donald Pleasence's character and the chimp because he's an entomologist. He studies insects. And the film opens with a girl who misses the bus, and she runs to this house. She gets stabbed. And there's this great shot where she's up against a window, and when she gets stabbed, she slow motion hits this window behind her, and all the glass hits her. And there's a waterfall nearby. We see her head get tossed in it. And pretty much Donald Pleasence's theory is that insects, especially maggots, are sort of like a little detectives, because they live off rotting flesh. And judging by the stage of growth from larva to full fly, you can tell how long they've been feeding on this body. And Jennifer Connelly, I think, does a great job I think this was her first starring role. I know the year before this, she played young Deborah in Once Upon a Time in America, which is a great gangster epic. I think she did a great job, for a young teen actress. Donald Pleasence, of course, did amazing. And the thing about it is, they don't really do a whole lot with the insect and the whole psychic link. There's just only a few scenes. There's only a few murders in it. Granted, some of them, one girl, because there's like this long pole with a knife on it. The girl gets it in the back of the head and out the mouth. And then this other girl, her friend Sophie, gets killed. And pretty much Jennifer Connelly's treated like shit at this school. Like, the girls make fun of her. And the teachers are very strict. And they want to send her away to a asylum. Because they find a letter to her father saying, I can talk to bugs and all this stuff. So they just think she's fucking crazy. And it's all a big build-up to the ending. Which, I really liked this movie. And if you're getting into Italian horror or Giallo films and you haven't seen this yet, I'm going to say spoilers right now. So if you haven't, well, first, there's some other stuff. I'll say spoilers and then stop watching and go watch this. Other things I can comment on is the music. Kind of like Demons, you get a score by Goblin, but then you get like special guests. Like, you get a song by Motorhead, you get the song Locomotive. Iron Maiden, which is my favorite band from the 80s, one of my all-time favorite bands ever. Love Iron Maiden. Their song Flash of the Blade appears twice. And I agree with Rambo Rap for Life that some of the heavy metal songs feel out of place. I mean, that's where I felt the first time I saw Opera. It's like this Quiet Riot sounding music. But it didn't bother me too much. I mean, in a movie like Demons, it makes sense, because that's a balls-to-the-wall crazy movie. But with this, this image really sort of sets up the mood of the movie. So, like, the song by Iron Maiden, the song by Motorhead didn't really bother me too much. But the score, holy fuck, is the score amazing. The main theme for this movie is one of the most beautiful, best-sounding scores, like theme-wise, I've ever heard in a horror movie. I'm actually going to put a link down below, so if you don't know what it is, you can check it out. A lot of people compare it to the Castlevania music. A lot of people say something about Queen of Darkness, whatever that is. So maybe it was used in that as well, but absolutely beautiful, amazing score. I love the Goblin score in this, especially the main theme. But the songs by Iron Maiden didn't bother me. Or the songs by Iron Maiden and Motorhead didn't really bother me. A little out of place. The pacing was kind of all over the place. In the beginning it's kind of slow. Then it gets really interesting. Then it's slow again. Then it picks up. Then it gets slow. Then it picks up. It is kind of all over the place. But it's all a build-up to the end. So spoilers right now. If you have not seen Phenomena by Dario Argento, and you're either getting into horror or Giallo or Italian horror or Dario Argento, stop watching right now and go check this out, because I don't want to spoil it. So go check it out. Okay, so spoiler territory. You find out that, first of all, the killer is a woman that works at the school. Well, no, that's not true. She has a deformed son. She used to work at a mental asylum and she was raped. And she has a young son who, probably about 15, I guess. He has the body of a small child, but his face is really deformed. Kind of looks like, what's his name, Gunther from the Funhouse? The killer from the Funhouse. So he's the one that's been killing these girls, and then, the woman that works at the school, she's the one that kills, like, Donald Pleasence and attacks the inspector that comes to her house to protect him. And you get crazy scenes like Jennifer Connelly finds like this dungeon where she lands in this pool full of dead bodies and maggots. The whole house is full of maggots because, according to Donald Pleasence, the killer likes to keep these bodies close. So there's always maggots nearby. And then, there's a fight with Jennifer Connelly and the deformed son on a boat. And there's this great scene where she screams very loudly. It's a prolonged scream in slow motion. And it's CGI, but it looks fine. You see this swarm of these sarcophagus flies, ones that feed off rotting flesh. They just engulf, just completely envelope this kid, I guess. And you see blood coming out, and he falls in the water. And then when she makes it back to shore, she's been trying to reach her father's agent to come pick her up. He finally finds her. And then that woman just comes up and fucking decapitates him. And, she says she's going to kill Jennifer Connelly. She admits that she killed Donald Pleasence. She killed all these people. Her son killed the girls. Now she's going to kill her to avenge her son. And then the chimp, which found a straight edge razor in a trash can while I was looking for food, comes out of nowhere and just starts slicing the fuck out of her face. You're just like, yeah, because one, she's a bitch, and two, chimps are awesome. So yeah, it's a crazy, hectic finale. And I thought the build-up was well done. There's also that scene where all the girls are making fun of her, making insect noises. And there's like all these bugs, like all these flies surrounding the windows, and then the girls get all creeped out because they know she's controlling them. Again, with that excellent, beautiful theme music by Goblin. Donald Pleasence did an amazing job, as always. He's a very kind, nice person. You feel bad when he gets killed because he's just, he's always a pleasure to see on screen. Donald Pleasence, he's pleasant to see on screen. He's a great actor. May he rest in peace. But yeah, you would think there'd be more to talk about, but, with Giallo films, there's not much of a story. It's just people get killed, then you find out who the killer is, there's the big revelation. But Phenomena is different because, it's not just a black-gloved, white-masked killer. It's this deformed little fuck, and that his crazy mother's protecting. And, Jennifer Connelly, I think, did a fantastic job, even for her young age. I think she had to be maybe 13, 14, maybe 15. Oh, there's a retrospective featurette. I probably should have checked that out. Oh well. But anyway, this was a really surprising movie. The concept didn't really, grab me as well. A girl that can talk to insects to stop a killer. It didn't grab me initially, but then when I watched it, I got really sucked into it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought this was, no pun intended, fucking phenomenal. The music really helped. Music in Italian films always help. And, some people could argue that the whole ending with, the killer's a little deformed kid, and there's all this craziness happening in, like, the last 10-15 minutes, that in contrast to the rest of the pacing could kind of take you out of it. I can see why, but I bought into it. I thought this was a very interesting, unique, different, imaginative Giallo film with one hell of a climax. I thought this was very good. And again, my favorite part, even though I love Iron Maiden, I still think the Goblin soundtrack, especially the theme, was one of the, my jaw dropped first time I heard it. I thought it was a beautiful piece of music. Probably my favorite piece of music in any, at least Italian horror film. So yeah, definitely, if you're getting into Italian horror, or Giallo, or Dario Argento, definitely check this out. This is not one to miss. This is, again, I think I might actually like this better than Suspiria. Suspiria is more of a visual experience, but this has everything else. So yeah, Phenomena, I thought was really great. Definitely check it out. I can't recommend it enough. But for Room 237, that's Phenomena. Thank you.